Again, welcome back to the channel. So glad each and every one of you can make it. Today I'm going to show you how to stabilize some video in Davinci Resolve. Now this particular one is Davinci Resolve 15, but it pretty much works the same in all of them except for 16, and I'll show you the difference here in just a second. But the first thing you want to do, of course, is open up Davinci Resolve. Then you're going to go to wherever you have your footage. Then you're going to click it and drag it. This is my preferred method. And just drop it in the timeline, since we're just doing this one thing. If I was like editing a complete video, I'd put it up in the top left, okay? But here you go. Then all you got to do is trim it, or whatever you need to do to it to get it to the size that you want. For this video, I'm just doing 16 seconds. And I'm going to go ahead and just turn the volume all the way down. That's all I'm going to do. If you haven't seen how to do those couple steps, I have other videos that cover that, so please go check that out. It's in my playlist under video editing, so check that out. But here we go. This is the raw footage, okay? And as you can see, it's got some jumping around, some moving and everything. But that's just the nature of hand holding a camera without a gimbal on it. It's going to shake. It's going to move. But, you know, not all of us can afford to have one. Not all of us want one. So how do we take that video and stabilize it? Glad you asked. Let me show you. Now the easiest way for me to tell you how to do it is just highlight it. I'm going to bring it back all the way to the beginning, the timeline. Now this is where Davinci 15 differs from 16. On Davinci 16, if you look up in the top right hand corner, up here, you will actually have a stabilizer window in there. 15 does not. To get to 15s, you must highlight the section you want to work on, go into color tab, and when you go into color tab, you're going to have all these different windows, right? I have mine typically set up like this, but it doesn't matter which one you have. The main thing is you want to go to the tracker window, which is right here, and it brings this up. This is traditionally used whenever you want to track an object, like track for focus or texting or anything like that. And the one thing we want to do right here where it says window, you're going to click on that and you get 3 drop down items. The middle one, stabilizer, you want to click on that. Now let me explain how stabilization works. Now stabilization with cameras and stabilization with editing software are completely two different things, because with cameras, especially if you have a zoom lens, whenever you zoom in with your lens, which is a form of cropping, if you try to think of it as editing, it is a form of cropping. Well, typically whenever you do that, it actually magnifies the shake, it magnifies the movement, whereas editing software is just reverse of that. The editing software will actually crop in on your video to stabilize the photo. It's kind of counterintuitive if you're a photographer thinking about video editing software. They work opposite of one another, if that makes sense. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Once you have your video in, you get this little window open, it says stabilizer. See the button right there, it says stabilizer? You're going to click on that, and then it will analyze the video. Now there's a bunch of other settings down here that you really don't need to worry about, but I will explain it to you. Not all of them, of course, but I'll explain some of them so that the video is not too long, and I'll try to show you 1 or 2 of them. Okay, that video just finished analyzing, so let's see how it looks now compared to what it did look like. Just hit play. And as you can see, there's still some movement, but it's not as jumpy and glitchy as the other one. Okay, looks fairly good. But as you can see, it cropped in. So whenever you take a video, that is something that you're going to need to remember. If it's going to be something up close and you know you're going to be using the stabilizer software to stabilize it, allow a little extra room. In other words, don't go in as close, okay? Because it's going to automatically crop it. And if it's not quite smooth enough for you, if you look down here at the bottom, you see cropping ratio, okay? You can actually increase that a little bit. Let's say 70. Okay. Anytime you change anything, you gotta go up and click on the stabilizer again, and then it will reprocess. And as you can see, it didn't take but just a second because all I did was change the ratio. So now we're going to go back to the beginning of it, and as you can tell, the picture is a little smaller. And let's see how it looks now. And already it's a lot smoother, as you can see. I mean, there's only so much you can take out hand holding something, but that's what that looks like. Okay. Now, if you go and change down here, there's 3 different types of stabilization you can do. Perspective, which is, you know, the way everything looks to you. Similarity, and translation. You can change it. If this one's not working for you, just click on one of those. But again, you're going to have to restabilize it. So you're going to have to reanalyze it. So as we wait on that, let's talk about other things. You have zoom, camera lock, smoothness, and the cropping ratio. Again, you already know what the cropping ratio is. That takes the picture in tighter, so it has less that it needs to have to try to stabilize. Camera lock tells the software that the camera is on a tripod, if you will. So the camera is not moving, it's the actual video that's moving. So it will use different parameters and different algorithms to stabilize that picture. But let's see how this one looks now that it's finished. Let's take it back to the beginning and see if we notice a difference. Now if you watched that just now, it looked like it had a little bit of a distortion to it. Let's put it back to the beginning. About a second or 2 in, you will see it. The picture will look like it kind of wobbles, for lack of better terms. Right there. Does it forward and backwards. So that's distortion. So we knew that was not going to work. So we can try translation again, but typically for 99% of your needs, perspective will work. Okay. Now what is zoom? Zoom gives the software the rights to zoom in on the video to stabilize it. Now watch what happens if I unzoom it. It takes it back out, but if you look at it, see if I can get this to work right. Let me enlarge it. You can already see at the top of the video there's black space. Down the left side there's black space. There's a little bit right there and none down there. And that's from the software trying to crop the video to make it fit. If I zoom in real good, you can see it real good there. Let's see, how do I do that? That's left to right. There we go, up and down. You can see the black there. And if you don't check zoom, this is what it'll look like. I'll just let it play like that. You can see it's moving up and down from where the software is trying to zoom in on the video to smooth it out, to give you the perspective that it's been stabilized. Really, it hasn't been stabilized. What it's doing is it's just using a type of visual effect to stabilize the photo. Well, this isn't what we want, so let's stop it. Let's recheck zoom, which is right there again. Check that, and now let's hit play again. Now the box is not there. You know, it's not wobbling, it's not shaking, it's not doing anything crazy. But if that is not enough for you, you can always go right here to where it says smooth and drag that over. Take it from 25 to 50. Hit stabilize again, and then we wait again. That's the only drawback to doing a large section. It takes a little while for this stuff to work, but when you have to have it, you have to have it, and it works miracles. That's why when you can, you always put stuff on a tripod and let it do its work. It makes it so much easier. If you can do everything in camera, in other words, rather than having to do it in the software, it saves you a lot of time. But it's almost done. We're at 97, 98, there's 100. And as you can see, it zoomed in even more. But let's see if it made a difference in the video. Let's back it back out. Let me get it recenter if I can remember how to do it. There we go. Now as you can see, the picture's wider, but it's also shorter. But let's see how it looks now. And yes, that's a lot smoother. A whole lot smoother. But again, it's now cropped more too. So you'll have to play with it. You'll have to look at it to see which way works for you. And if you want to check before and after to see the difference, just stop it. There's a little thing right here, bypass stabilization. Just click it and watch what happens to the picture. It goes back to the original crop. Then you just hit play and you can watch it to see if it made any difference. Sometimes it doesn't, but you can see. And you can even do it as it's playing. See, that's with stabilization, that's without. That's with. And you can just play with these settings and everything to see what works best for you. Let's go back to the edit screen. That way we get the bigger video, and let's see how it looks now. Let's take it back to the beginning and hit play. And look how much smoother that looks. Now, as you can see, there's still a little bit of moving around and this and that, but it can only take out so much. But like I said, the reason I do these types of videos is to try to help you. Anybody that has Davinci Resolve or programs like that, try to figure out what they can do to try to make their videos better. Because, you know, whenever I do a video, I always try to make mine to where I would want to watch it. And I personally don't want to watch one that's jumping all around and everything. So here we go. Let's make it better. So until next time, I hope this one helped you out. If so, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and share if you don't mind, so that it too may help other people out there than just you and I. That's the name of the game. If we all help each other, the world would be a much better place. So until next time, guys and gals, take care. Thank you so much for stopping and watching.